Beloved, today I want to speak to every heart that feels weary, burdened, or overwhelmed. I want to speak to those who have been through trials, faced setbacks, or walked through seasons of pain. If that is you, I want you to know this. God is not finished with you. He is not done with your story. What you are experiencing now is not the end. It is a preparation. He is strengthening you for a mission far greater than the pain you are carrying. Even in the most challenging seasons of life, when it feels like the world is pressing down on you, there is a spark within you that refuses to be extinguished. That spark is not a product of your own strength or determination. It is the stirring of God's Spirit within you. Often when we face trials, our natural instinct is to resist, to question, and to feel overwhelmed. Pain, disappointment, and adversity have a way of making us feel small and powerless. Yet, these very circumstances are the fertile soil in which God plants a divine fire within your spirit. This fire is a sign, a signal from heaven, that He is actively strengthening you, preparing you for a mission far greater than your present suffering. Consider the nature of fire. Fire is transformative. It purifies, it strengthens, and it illuminates. In the same way, the spiritual fire God ignites in your life during trials is not meant to destroy you, but to refine you. When you face opposition or endure hardship, that internal fire keeps you moving forward, even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. It is a subtle, persistent energy that refuses to be quenched by fear, doubt, or despair. It is the Holy Spirit's way of telling you that your present pain is temporary, and that it is producing within you a resilience and fortitude that will carry you through the mission God has for your life. The challenges you face are not accidental or meaningless. In fact, God often uses the most difficult moments to awaken this fire. When life feels overwhelming, when your dreams seem distant, or when your heart is heavy with sorrow, you may begin to notice a quiet determination arising inside you. You find the strength to rise early, to pray when it seems easier to sleep, to speak words of hope when everything around you is crumbling. This is the fire of God, shaping your spirit, strengthening your resolve, and equipping you for a purpose beyond your pain. Many people underestimate the power of spiritual fire. It is subtle, often misunderstood, and can be mistaken for mere endurance or persistence. But the fire within you is alive, active, and divine. It is the presence of God working in you to prepare you for what lies ahead. It is not a passive waiting. It is an active transformation. Just as metal becomes stronger when forged in intense heat, your spirit becomes stronger as God refines it through trials. The fire burns away fear, doubt, and spiritual immaturity, leaving behind a heart and mind prepared for divine assignments. Moreover, this fire enables you to persevere with joy, even in the midst of suffering. There is a difference between enduring hardship out of obligation and moving forward with the burning presence of God within you. When God ignites your spirit, you experience a supernatural strength that allows you to remain hopeful, patient, and faithful. You begin to see obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for growth. The fire gives you vision and courage to press forward, even when circumstances are confusing or painful. It is also important to recognize that this fire is intimately connected to your purpose. Every trial, every difficulty, every tear is a refining tool in God's hands. The fire inside you is a preparation for impact. It is preparing you to carry a mission larger than the pain you are currently experiencing. Without this refining fire, you may never develop the endurance, wisdom, and spiritual sensitivity necessary to fulfill your calling. God is shaping you to be a person who can handle responsibility, lead with compassion, and accomplish extraordinary things for His glory. So, when life feels heavy, remember that the fire burning within you is a gift. It is God's signal that He is actively strengthening you. It is a sign that your present struggles are producing resilience, courage, and spiritual depth. This fire is your preparation for the mission that awaits, a mission far bigger than any pain you have endured. The spark within you is alive, and it will grow into a flame that cannot be extinguished. As you nurture it with faith, prayer, and obedience, it will illuminate your path, guide your steps, and empower you to rise above every challenge. The fire in your spirit is God's promise. Your pain is temporary, but your purpose is eternal, and He is equipping you to fulfill it. Pain is often the most misunderstood aspect of life. When we experience disappointment, loss, or heartache, it is natural to ask, why me? Or to feel that life is unfair. Yet for those who are walking in faith, pain is never meaningless. Every trial, every struggle, and every moment of suffering carries within it a divine purpose. God uses these experiences to shape, mold, and prepare us for something far greater than we can imagine. What may feel like defeat or weakness is, in reality, the soil in which your destiny is being cultivated. Pain is not the end of your story. It is the instrument God uses to write a chapter of strength, wisdom, and preparation for the mission He has for you. When we look at the lives of biblical figures, we see this principle clearly. Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers and thrown into a pit, endured years of suffering as a slave and prisoner. Yet God transformed that pain into purpose, positioning Joseph to save nations from famine. David, pursued relentlessly by enemies and facing constant danger, found that his trials refined his character and deepened his reliance on God. Their pain was not wasted, it was purposeful. In the same way, the struggles you face are not random. They are deliberate, intentional, and designed to equip you for a mission bigger than your present circumstances. Pain teaches patience, perseverance, and humility. When life feels overwhelming, we are forced to lean on God rather than our own strength. We begin to understand that our abilities alone are insufficient and that we need His wisdom, guidance, and power to navigate difficult seasons. This reliance on God transforms us. It produces a depth of character and spiritual maturity that cannot be achieved through comfort or ease. Every challenge you endure is training for a higher purpose, building your resilience, your faith, and your capacity to handle greater responsibilities. Additionally, pain cultivates empathy and compassion. When you have walked through suffering, you develop a sensitivity to the struggles of others. You understand loss, disappointment, and heartache in a way that allows you to minister to, encourage, and uplift those around you. God uses your experiences to equip you to carry His love to others who are hurting. This capacity to relate to others is a vital part of your mission. Your pain is not just about personal growth. It is about preparing you to impact lives, bring healing, and demonstrate God's presence through your journey. Pain also reveals hidden strengths. When everything seems to be falling apart, you discover inner resources you didn't know existed. Courage, resilience, faith, and creativity often emerge most strongly in the midst of adversity. God allows challenges to reveal what is in your heart and what He is cultivating within you. The struggles you face are refining fire, exposing weaknesses while strengthening your spirit and preparing you for the responsibilities of a larger mission. Understanding pain as purposeful also transforms your perspective. Instead of viewing suffering as punishment or meaningless hardship, you begin to see it as preparation. Every tear, every disappointment, and every setback carries a lesson or a seed that will bear fruit in due season. Pain becomes a teacher, guiding you to a higher level of spiritual awareness, maturity, and readiness. You start to recognize that the very circumstances you wish were different are actually shaping you for a calling greater than you can comprehend. Ultimately, seeing pain as purposeful leads to hope and faith. It allows you to endure with the knowledge that God is orchestrating your life with intentionality. He's taking every difficult moment and using it to equip you for the mission He has designed. Your trials are temporary, but the purpose born from them is eternal. The pain you experience today is not wasted. It is producing the strength, wisdom, and spiritual insight necessary to accomplish God's plans for your life. So when life feels heavy and the weight of your struggles presses down on you, remember that your pain has a divine purpose. It is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for a mission far greater than your current circumstances. Every moment of difficulty is a step forward in your journey, a step toward fulfilling the calling God has placed on your life. Pain is not an obstacle. It is the pathway to purpose. It is the refining hand of God at work, turning your trials into triumphs and preparing you to walk boldly into the destiny He has prepared for you. Life often places burdens on us that feel heavier than we can bear. There are moments when it seems that the challenges are too great, the obstacles insurmountable, and our own strength insufficient. Yet it is precisely in these moments that God reveals a supernatural, unseen strength within us, a strength that does not originate from our own abilities, but from His Spirit working powerfully in our lives. This hidden strength is a divine gift, quietly growing in the depths of our hearts, preparing us to carry responsibilities, fulfill our calling, and walk through trials with courage and perseverance. It is a sign that God is actively equipping us for a mission far greater than the struggles we currently face. Unseen strength is not always dramatic or loud. It is often subtle, manifesting as endurance when fatigue threatens to overtake us, as patience when circumstances seem unbearable, and as hope when despair beckons. It is the inner fortitude that enables us to rise each morning with determination, to pray when our hearts feel heavy, and to keep moving forward when all external signs indicate failure. This strength is God's response to our trials. It is His power working within us to transform weakness into resilience, fear into courage, and limitation into opportunity. Many times we underestimate our capacity because we measure it by what we can see or feel. Human strength has limits, but God's strength is limitless. When we rely on Him, we discover an ability to endure, persevere, and act in ways we never thought possible. Consider the story of Paul in the New Testament, who faced imprisonment, persecution, and countless hardships. Despite these difficulties, he continually declared that God's strength was made perfect in weakness. Similarly, God desires to show His strength through your life. Your struggles are not evidence of your failure. They are opportunities for His power to be revealed in you. This unseen strength also manifests in the way we respond to circumstances. It is easy to react in fear, frustration, or anger when challenges arise. But those who are being strengthened by God respond differently. They exhibit grace, composure, and wisdom. They find solutions where none seem possible and maintain faith when logic and reason might suggest despair. This ability to navigate life with spiritual insight and resilience is a clear sign that God is preparing them for greater responsibilities. The strength that grows quietly in the soul during trials equips a person to handle more than they could ever handle naturally. Furthermore, this strength prepares us to impact others. A person who has walked through difficulty and discovered God's power within them becomes a source of encouragement, hope, and inspiration for others. People are drawn to those who carry resilience, not because they are without struggle, but because their strength reflects the sustaining power of God. Through your unseen strength, God is preparing you to lead, to uplift, and to serve a purpose larger than yourself. Your endurance and courage become tools in His hands, enabling you to fulfill assignments that require more than ordinary human ability. Unseen strength also fosters spiritual maturity. As God strengthens you internally, you develop patience, humility, and a deeper understanding of His ways. You learn to trust Him in circumstances that are beyond your control, to rely on His timing rather than your own, and to walk in obedience even when the path is unclear. This spiritual growth is essential for the missions God has designed for you. Strength without wisdom can lead to pride or misdirection, but strength rooted in God's Spirit equips you to act wisely, lead faithfully, and persevere unwaveringly. In addition, the presence of this strength brings peace in the midst of chaos. When the storms of life rage around you, you may feel overwhelmed, yet there is an inner calm that sustains you. This is God's unseen strength at work, reminding you that you are not alone and that your ability to endure comes from Him. It reassures your heart that no matter how insurmountable the challenge appears, you are equipped to face it with His power and grace. Ultimately, this unseen strength is a sign of divine preparation. God is equipping you to rise above trials, to fulfill your destiny, and to accomplish a mission far greater than your current pain or circumstance. It reminds you that your limitations are not the measure of your potential, and that your weakness is the very space where His power can be made manifest. As you embrace this strength, you begin to walk with confidence, courage, and faith, knowing that God has equipped you to face any challenge, endure any hardship, and complete the mission He has set before you. Life often presents seasons of uncertainty, where it seems as if every door is closed and every opportunity is blocked. In those times, it is easy to feel discouraged, overlooked, or forgotten. Yet, God's ways are higher than our ways, and His timing is perfect. One of the clearest signs that He is strengthening you for a mission bigger than your pain is the subtle opening of doors that were once firmly shut. These doors may appear as new opportunities, divine connections, or unexpected breakthroughs, and they often arrive in ways you could never have anticipated. They are not coincidental. They are divinely orchestrated, designed to guide you toward the fulfillment of your calling. Many people fail to recognize the significance of small or seemingly insignificant openings. A chance encounter, a timely word of encouragement, a sudden shift in circumstances. These are often God's ways of preparing the path ahead. While they may appear minor in the moment, they are part of a larger plan. God uses these openings to stretch your faith, test your obedience, and align your steps with His divine purpose. What once seemed impossible becomes possible as you step through these doors in faith, trusting that He is leading you exactly where you need to go. Opportunities are often disguised as challenges. A new role, a responsibility, or a situation may feel intimidating at first, yet God is preparing you to rise to the occasion. Each door He opens is both an invitation and a test. It is an opportunity to demonstrate your faith, to exercise the strength He has cultivated in you, and to embrace the mission He has designed. The openings may not come at the moment you expect or in the form you desire, but they are always perfectly timed. God knows when you are ready to walk through them, and He ensures that each step you take aligns with His plan. Recognizing divine openings requires discernment and attentiveness to God's guidance. It is not enough to see a door, you must also sense the Spirit's leading. This is why prayer, meditation on Scripture, and spiritual sensitivity are essential. God often whispers direction through subtle nudges, inner convictions, or confirmations from His Word. Those who cultivate intimacy with Him are more likely to recognize the doors He opens and to step through with confidence. Missing these cues can delay your destiny, but trusting His guidance ensures that you walk in alignment with His divine purpose. The opening of doors is also a sign of God's provision and favor. Even when resources seem scarce or circumstances seem impossible, He orchestrates circumstances to make a way. He connects you with the right people, provides the necessary skills or knowledge, and positions you strategically to maximize your impact. These openings demonstrate that God is not only aware of your struggles, but is actively working behind the scenes to bring your mission to fruition. Each opportunity, no matter how small it seems, carries potential for exponential growth and advancement. Stepping through these doors requires faith and courage. Fear of the unknown, doubt, or past failures can hold us back from embracing God's provision. Yet, the very presence of an open door is proof that God is equipping you to walk through it successfully. It is a call to trust His timing, rely on His strength, and move forward in obedience. The process of stepping through the door, even when uncertain, deepens your faith and prepares you for future challenges. It is in these moments that your resilience, wisdom, and spiritual maturity are truly tested and strengthened. Finally, these divine openings are not just for your personal benefit. They are part of a larger mission. Each door leads to opportunities to serve others, advance God's kingdom, and fulfill a calling that exceeds your own understanding. They are part of the blueprint God is constructing in your life, connecting your struggles, strengths, and spiritual growth to a purpose far greater than yourself. The doors he opens are invitations to step into destiny, to embrace the assignments he has prepared, and to manifest his glory in ways that will impact generations. Therefore, when doors begin to open in your life, especially those that were previously closed or impossible, recognize it as a sign that God is actively strengthening and positioning you. These opportunities are not random. They are divine pathways designed to guide you toward a mission far greater than your current pain. Step through them in faith, trust in his provision, and allow him to lead you into the fullness of your destiny. Every opening is a step forward, a confirmation that your trials are not wasted, and that God is faithfully preparing you for a future that will reflect his glory, power, and purpose. Faith is the cornerstone of every divine mission. Yet walking by faith is not always easy, especially when life presents uncertainty, loss, or disappointment. One of the clearest signs that God is strengthening you for a mission bigger than your pain is the deepening of your faith and trust in him, even when the outcome is unclear. Walking in faith does not mean that you have all the answers or that your circumstances are resolved. It means that you believe in the unseen, you trust God's timing, and you act in obedience because you know he is faithful. This kind of faith is forged in the crucible of life's challenges and strengthened through consistent dependence on the Lord. Faith grows when we are placed in situations beyond our control. When we face obstacles that cannot be solved by human wisdom or effort alone, we are compelled to rely on God. At first, this reliance may feel uncomfortable or even frightening. Our natural instinct is to control, manipulate, or fix what is broken. Yet God calls us to trust him, to step into uncertainty with confidence that he sees what we cannot see. This trust is not passive, it requires action. We move forward in prayer, obedience, and perseverance, believing that God is at work even when the path is hidden. The very act of trusting him strengthens our faith and prepares us for the greater mission he has called us to fulfill. Walking in faith also reshapes our perspective. When we rely solely on what we can see or understand, we limit our potential and underestimate God's power. But when we trust him, we begin to see our circumstances through his eyes. Challenges become opportunities, setbacks become lessons, and delays become periods of preparation. Faith allows us to recognize that God's timing is perfect, that his plans are far greater than our own, and that every moment of waiting is intentional. This understanding transforms how we approach life, enabling us to endure trials with hope and confidence rather than fear and despair. Faith is also tested and strengthened through obedience. God often asks us to take steps that seem risky or illogical, to act in ways that require courage and trust. Each step taken in obedience, no matter how small, is a demonstration of faith. These acts of trust train our hearts to lean not on our own understanding, but on God's wisdom and guidance. Over time, this obedience builds resilience, spiritual maturity, and confidence, equipping us to handle larger responsibilities and more significant assignments. Faith is not built in comfort. It is forged in the tension between the known and the unknown, the visible and the invisible, the natural and the supernatural. Another aspect of walking in faith is the recognition that God is always present, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. The ability to trust in his unseen work provides peace amid chaos. We may not understand why certain doors are closed or why trials persist, but faith allows us to rest in the assurance that God's plan is unfolding perfectly. This inner confidence strengthens our resolve and prepares us to embrace the mission he has designed, knowing that every challenge serves a purpose in his divine plan. Faith also enables us to persevere when the mission seems daunting. Many times God's purpose for our lives is greater than what we can accomplish alone. It requires endurance, patience, and the willingness to continue moving forward even when progress is slow or uncertain. Faith sustains us in these moments, reminding us that God is faithful, that his promises are true, and that he is equipping us for a destiny that surpasses our present difficulties. The deeper our faith, the more effectively we can navigate life's challenges, remain steadfast in our calling, and embrace the mission God has set before us. Finally, walking in faith transforms our identity. As we trust God, we begin to see ourselves not through the lens of our pain, limitations, or past failures, but through the lens of His purpose and potential. We understand that we are not defined by what we have endured, but by what God is creating within us. Faith becomes the foundation upon which our destiny is built, enabling us to step into a mission far greater than our current struggles, to impact lives for His glory, and to fulfill the calling He has placed on our hearts. Therefore, when you find yourself walking by faith in the midst of uncertainty, know that this is a powerful sign that God is preparing you for a mission larger than your pain. Your trust, obedience, and perseverance are strengthening your spirit, deepening your relationship with Him, and equipping you to accomplish a divine purpose that will transcend your circumstances. Faith is both the journey and the preparation, guiding you toward a destiny only God could envision, and empowering you to step boldly into the mission He has called you to fulfill. Pain has a way of opening our hearts in ways that comfort never can. When we experience suffering, disappointment, or loss, we are confronted with the fragility of life and the depth of human need. Yet it is in these very moments that God cultivates compassion and empathy within us, preparing us to be vessels of His love and instruments of His purpose. Compassion is not merely a feeling. It is an active sensitivity to the struggles of others and a desire to respond with kindness, care, and understanding. When God strengthens you through trials, He is simultaneously deepening your capacity to connect with the pain of others and use your experiences to bring healing and hope. Empathy is born from experience. Those who have walked through suffering themselves are uniquely equipped to relate to others in meaningful ways. They understand what it is like to feel broken, overlooked, or misunderstood. They have faced despair, battled fear, and persevered when the outcome seemed uncertain. This shared understanding becomes a bridge between your heart and the hearts of those around you. God uses your pain not only to refine your character, but also to expand your ability to minister to others in their moments of need. Through your empathy, you become a living example of His love and a source of encouragement for those who are struggling. Compassion and empathy are also signs that God is preparing you for a larger mission. A heart softened by suffering is a heart capable of serving with humility and grace. It is easier to lead, to encourage, and to walk alongside others when you understand the weight of their burdens. God equips those who have been refined by trials to take on responsibilities that require emotional intelligence, patience, and a sensitivity to the needs of others. The very experiences that once caused pain are transformed into tools for ministry, leadership, and service, allowing you to fulfill a calling far beyond personal achievement or comfort. The development of compassion also strengthens your spiritual life. As your heart becomes more attuned to the struggles of others, you grow in your understanding of God's heart for humanity. You begin to see His work in the lives of people more clearly and develop a greater sensitivity to His guidance. This empathy fosters prayerful intercession, acts of kindness, and a genuine desire to reflect God's love in practical ways. In essence, the pain you endure produces fruit in your spiritual maturity, enabling you to operate in ways that align with God's kingdom purposes. Furthermore, compassion is a powerful catalyst for transformation in others. When people encounter someone who understands their pain and responds with genuine care, it instills hope and faith. Your experiences become a testimony of God's faithfulness and provision. The empathy and kindness you extend are not just acts of charity, they are instruments of divine influence. God often uses those who have been strengthened by trials to reach and minister to others in ways that would be impossible without first-hand experience. Your pain becomes a platform for purpose, enabling you to impact lives and advance His kingdom in profound ways. Compassion and empathy also require humility. It takes humility to acknowledge that others' pain is valid, to listen without judgment, and to offer support without seeking recognition. God uses trials to cultivate this humility in our hearts, shaping us into leaders and servants who are approachable, understanding, and sensitive to the needs of others. This humility allows us to walk with others through their struggles, providing comfort, guidance, and strength in alignment with God's will. Finally, compassion and empathy remind us that our mission extends beyond ourselves. While God strengthens us through pain to endure and grow, He also prepares us to serve a purpose that transcends personal suffering. The mission He has designed for you often involves carrying the burdens of others, ministering to the hurting, and reflecting His love in practical and transformative ways. Your capacity to empathize and act compassionately is a direct result of His refining work in your life. It is a sign that He is equipping you to fulfill a calling far larger than your own pain, using your experiences to bring hope, healing, and encouragement to a world in need. Therefore, when you notice your heart softening, your empathy growing, and your desire to serve others increasing, recognize it as a sign that God is preparing you for a mission bigger than your pain. Your suffering has not been in vain. It has strengthened your spirit, refined your character, and expanded your capacity to impact others. Through compassion and empathy, God equips you to carry His love, reflect His heart, and fulfill the divine purpose He has placed on your life, transforming your pain into a powerful instrument of His glory and grace. As we reflect on these 6 signs, it becomes clear that pain and trials are not the end of the story. They are the beginning of a divine transformation. God does not allow suffering to break us without a purpose. Every challenge, every disappointment, every moment of weakness is a stepping stone toward a mission far greater than we can imagine. When we recognize these signs, the fire in our spirit, the purpose hidden in pain, the unseen strength growing within us, the doors God opens, the deepening of our faith, and the expansion of our compassion, we begin to understand that God is actively preparing us for a destiny larger than our current circumstances. Each of these signs is a marker of His divine work in our lives, a confirmation that what we are going through is purposeful, intentional, and redemptive. The fire in our spirit, even amidst trials, reminds us that God is shaping our character. It is this fire that keeps us moving forward when life seems unbearable, giving us resilience, courage, and determination. Through it, we are reminded that challenges are refining tools designed to strengthen our hearts, sharpen our focus, and align us with the mission He has called us to. The very struggles that feel overwhelming are, in reality, producing a strength and endurance that can only come from God. Our pain, when viewed through the lens of faith, becomes purposeful. What once felt meaningless now carries divine significance. Every tear, every setback, and every disappointment is a lesson, a preparation, and a stepping stone toward the calling that awaits us. God transforms our experiences into tools for His glory, teaching us perseverance, humility, and wisdom. Pain becomes a source of growth, insight, and preparation for the larger mission He is entrusting to us. Unseen strength is another powerful sign of divine preparation. Often, we underestimate our capacity, judging our ability by what is visible or tangible. Yet God's strength manifests in ways that are not always apparent. It empowers us to endure, to act courageously, and to rise above challenges that would otherwise overwhelm us. This strength is supernatural, cultivated through trials, and intended to equip us for responsibilities, leadership, and missions that surpass human limitation. God's opening of doors is a testimony to His provision and guidance. Opportunities may appear in unexpected ways, sometimes disguised as challenges or risks, yet each one is intentional. They are pathways to purpose, avenues through which God stretches our faith and aligns our steps with His divine plan. Recognizing and stepping through these doors requires attentiveness, obedience, and trust, demonstrating our readiness to embrace the calling He has prepared. Faith, deepened through trials, anchors our journey. It allows us to trust God when outcomes are uncertain, to move forward despite fear, and to walk in obedience even when the path is unclear. Faith is the bridge between our pain and our purpose, enabling us to persevere, remain steadfast, and walk confidently toward the mission God has designed for us. It transforms our perspective, turning obstacles into opportunities and challenges into moments of spiritual growth. Finally, compassion and empathy reveal the ultimate purpose of our preparation. Pain softens the heart and expands our ability to connect with, serve, and uplift others. Through our experiences, God equips us to bring hope, healing, and encouragement to those who are hurting. Compassion is a reflection of His heart and a sign that our trials are not merely for personal growth. They are for step forward in faith, embrace the process, and trust that God is equipping you to fulfill a divine mission that will leave a lasting impact. Glorify His name and demonstrate that your suffering was never in vain. The pain you endure today is simply the preparation for the purpose you were created to fulfill.